tends to do normal daily work, and just like we always do, just to bring you great content as always. Please make sure that you cash out. It goes with the short code *439#. We'll be grateful as you join us as always. You dial *439#. You choose option 2, and then you also would have to make sure that as many times as possible, you choose option 2, TV3, and then you have to increase the number of tickets you have. When you increase those numbers, please, that gives you the best chance to become one of those lucky winners as always. And for many of the things we have to do, we encourage you to cash out as many times as you can. For those of you who have joined us on our stream, please, we are grateful that you've joined us. And make sure you share the stream. Let's have some great conversations thereof, and all of us will be the better for it. I can already see a number of individuals as well. Mona, Nelson, and a number of you, Money, wishing you all the best for the new year. Share the stream. But we're here to do some introspection or retrospection, so to speak, the 8 years of the Akufo-Addo-led legacy as he gets to have his final State of the Nation address tomorrow. What are your expectations as well? Make sure you join us. And then we'll take a look at those issues in courts regarding those constituencies, the results thereof, and whether there should be the undertaking by the Electoral Commission as being sought by the parties before the High Court. So thank you for joining us. But this is what the President said by way of his end-of-year message to ordinary Ghanaians.
This New Year's message is deeply personal to me, as it is my last as your president. Serving you has been the greatest honor of my life. I stand before you not just as a leader, but as a fellow Ghanaian, humbled by the trust you have placed in me and inspired by the resilience and fortitude I've seen in each of you. Together, we've walked a journey of transformation, and it's a journey I will always cherish. In the years I've been privileged to lead, we've worked tirelessly to lay a foundation for a Ghana that is strong, united, and full of opportunity. The free senior high school policy has given hope to millions of young Ghanaians and their families. We've seen our healthcare system strengthened, our roads expanded, our industry strengthened, our agriculture revitalized, and our digital landscape transformed. Additionally, our economy is rebounding impressively, as demonstrated by the remarkable 7.2% growth achieved in the third quarter of 2024, with the year's growth rate projected at 6.8%. These achievements are not just numbers or statistics. They are stories of lives changed and futures made brighter. But I also acknowledge the challenges we have faced. The road has not always been smooth, and there have been times of difficulty and sacrifice. Yet through it all, the indomitable Ghanaian spirit has prevailed.
The president there, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. But just do the introduction as quickly as possible. I have right here Ellen Amadekun. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Oh, great. Happy New Year to you.
Really happy.
Oh, certainly. And Natre is here. Natre, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. And then I have Rodalyn Ayana. Happy New Year to you as well.
Same to you and good morning.
Oh, certainly good morning, and then to you as well. Did you go to Kumasi over the holiday period?
Yes, I did.
You did. Which day was that? One of them?
One of them.
One of them. Were the airports busy?
Oh, no.
No,
it
not.
wasn't that busy.
All right, just normal. He says going to Kumasi every day, it's a normal business. So thank you all for coming as well, ladies. I wish you all the best for the new year. But Ellen, certainly the president has a legacy to protect but more so to communicate to us. What are your expectations for tomorrow in his last State of the Nation address?
Good morning to our viewers and Happy New Year to them again. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for the past 8 years has communicated to all of us, right from day one when he started in 2017, what he wanted to do, what he has done, and what his vision for Ghana has been. In the last 8 years, as he said in his New Year's address, there have been good times, there have been bad times, there have been terrible times. But for me, and somebody who has not worked so closely with him, I haven't worked with him, I did work in the party. I believe that he's done his best as any human being. His term of office is over, and as an 80-year-old man who practically all his life, his adult life, has fought, and to be a president, he has always been in the politics of Ghana. I believe he has a legacy to be happy about. He has done his best. And as he goes home to rest as a statesman that he will be, he's going to lend his vast knowledge to Ghana, as the former President Kufuor has been doing, and of course to the NPP, his party. So for me, I believe that he's just topping the whole cake. He's putting the icing on the cake of his 8 years in office. And as he goes, his legacy, we would all know it. You know, there's this adage in Chi that when the frog dies, that is when you see its length. So as His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa is exiting, we are all going to see the proper length and breadth and things that he has done in the last 8 years. I wish to say thank you to him. He did his best as a president of Ghana. And I wish him luck. I want him to have long life. He should live long to see some of the benefits of his legacy. And I'm expecting him to tell us, in a nutshell, tomorrow, all the things that has happened, all the positives, all the negatives, all the challenges, and also to leave some advice to the incoming president. The incoming president is no stranger. He's been at this job before, so he should know exactly what he's coming to take over. But then he's also been in opposition for 8 years, so there are quite a number of things that the president would have to let him know. And I believe he will do that. For me, I'm looking forward to another, let's say we have 4 years of politics to do, 4 years of the John Mahama Part 2, and all the promises that he has put in. So we are looking forward to that. But His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I believe, is exiting on a good note.
And following that, what will be some of the key sectorial achievements you would perhaps try to outline that you have identified over the period?
I think one of the things that the president would be noted for would be education. And through his ministers of education, I think he's had 2 ministers of education. The first one being NAPO, pushing for the free SHS to be established and all these issues. The free SHS, as he said, has brought hope to a lot of Ghanaians. So let's see how that goes. And I believe that his second education minister, being Dr. Educhun, pushing for the STEM schools, pushing for us to get our children to be more critical thinkers instead of all of us what we went through in education, where we're learning everything, we chew and forget, and all the stuff that they are trying to push for the children in the education in terms of STEM. For me, I believe the future is STEM. So, and the next government should also continue. When you read the NDC manifesto, it looks like they will continue with it. So for me, one of his greatest achievements would be in education. And then the second one would be the digitalization of our economy and pushing us to also move into the fourth or fifth industrial era of the whole world. Everybody's going digital. So that's one of the things that this government has pushed very hard. Yes, this government went through quite a lot with COVID and everything. But from when I pick from the finance minister and the little conversations I've had, we seem to have ended last year on a growth of about 7-point-something%. And that is, I mean, far, far better than when we went through 2-3 years ago, when at certain points we're actually in the negatives. So for me, I think that with the economy and everything that has happened, this president and his presidency have done well. let's see what the incoming government will do. But for these 3 areas, I believe Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo did his best.
Natre, a great reflection of a man who became president subsequently. You take a look at a legacy that he also has to protect. What will be your expectations tomorrow?
Well, personally, I don't think there is any legacy. But before I come to that, I think that in the more recent past, no truer words have resonated with me than the words of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in January 2017, when he also presented his final State of the Nation's address. And if you permit me, I'll just read excerpts of it. It says that he would allow history to be the judge of how he has actually served the nation and how well he has run his lap of the relay. He goes on to say that he has done that with the best of intentions and has given his all for God and country. And let me remind viewers that these reflections of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama are not plagiarized speeches. They were not plagiarized. They were born out of sober reflections of how he has actually managed the country. Now, fast forward, we have Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who actually, in the same year, 2017, presented his first State of the Nation's address. And if you permit me, he also stated that we start off to give still one district, one factory, told us that he was in a hurry to give us multi-purpose industrial parks. Today, I don't know how many of these that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo told us in 2017 that he was in a hurry, he's being in a hurry to achieve. And so, in discussing the President's State of the Nation's address, it is very important to juxtapose the Ghana that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, or the NDC left for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo when we exited office in the first week of 2017. And then the Ghana as we have it now. By the time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was leaving office, we had an economy with a status of B-. Today, Ghana is a junk status economy. Yaka janka, a baller. That's what junk actually means.
Well, the president said we're recovering because
now,
within the protest,
we've heard we are recovering. You remember when...
And that's from the statistical service and then also the finance minister.
You remember when Ken Ofori-Atta was finance minister, domestic finance minister, before he was made international finance minister. He told us, is that we are turning the corner, we are recovering. That is what they will continually say to us. Do you know that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has actually borrowed more than cumulatively all governments under the Fourth Republic, to the extent that they overborrowed in the capital market and we were caned out? My expectation is that these are the truer reflections of the Ghanaian people, and that must also reflect in the President's State of the Nation's address. When under President John Dramani Mahama, the NPP actually mocked single-digit inflation. Today, they can't even the double digits, they are struggling. Even double digits, they are struggling. They mock President Mahama that what is single-digit inflation. And we thought that when they came into office, they will do better. You know what? Even if you can't keep it at what President Mahama left it, maybe the rate at which it increased should not be what you set out to criticize. But inflation has came to Baumia and his economic management team that today, the solid thing they said they have, it has actually liquidated. It has evaporated. Now, we go on to actually compare the cedi that President Mahama left for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. At the time, they made mockery of the cedi that was selling at 4 cedis to $1. And they told us that they have Dr. Baumia from the Bank of Ghana to come and actually stabilize the cedi. So what I'm saying in effect is that Dr. Baumia's job description was simple: stabilize the cedi and give us a robust economy. Today, by the time Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo decides that he would actually award Dr. Baumia, I'm not sure that he was actually awarded as regards the job description that was set for him. he was actually awarded for national cohesion and what have you. Why is somebody fighting? I thought that he would be bold enough, or Nana Addo Akufo-Addo would be bold enough to tell him in the face that you have not actually done as the job was prescribed to you. Now, you see, when the NDC was also leaving office, we left very strategic cash buffers. We left the Ghana infrastructure investment that had over $270 million and other cash buffers. Today, the NPP cannot account for any of them. They promised one constituency $1 million. I don't know if our members of parliament or our MCs have received cumulatively $8 million and cannot account for. And so what I'm saying is that this is a man who says, I was in a hurry, not knowing he was actually in a hurry to worsen Ghana's corruption perception index. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo was in a hurry to actually burden the Ghanaian with taxes. When he stated he was in a hurry in 2017, he was in a hurry to make our city more hata-hata, like he said. And when he said he was in a hurry, he was actually in a hurry to give people all forms of haircuts. Is that the hurry that President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo was in?
Is that your expectation, Nache?
He has actually, what I'm saying is that my expectation is actually juxtaposed with the Ghana that the NDC left with the NPP. And Nana Addo Akufo-Addo's own State of the Nations address that he delivered in 2017. And so you cannot say that my expectation should not be in line with this. It must be in line with all the promises that he made. And to add insult to the injuries of Ghanaians, he decided that, of course, it is possible to award incompetence. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo tells us that it is possible to award people who have questionable conduct and character. I think that that should not have happened. Roland, what I'm saying in effect is that Nana Addo Akufo-Addo's State of the Nations address must be a true reflection of the hardship that he has imposed on the Ghanaian people through taxes and what have you. But are we here to lament? No. That is why His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says that, I'm wrapping up. In the first 120 days of his governance, he has a social contract with the good people of Ghana. And so the e-levy, the 10% tax on bed winnings and what have you, that the NPP imposed on us against every resistance, he would cancel it. He's saying that just like the size of the elephants, that the NPP thought that we needed the size of the elephant like our party symbol. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is saying that he would form the leanest yet most effective government. This is a way to ensure that expenditure is reduced. He also goes on to say that in the first 120 days in office, he would hold two main dialogues or conference. One is on education.
We're talking about the current president.
No, so what? No, I've spoken about the current president. Yeah. And I'm saying that my expectation is that his State of the Nations address should reflect the hardship. Now, I go on to let Ghanaians understand that beyond the hardship, this is what, as a government, we will do to ease the hardship. We would actually take off the taxes that the NPP has imposed on them. And then as part of social interventions, we are giving free tertiary education to persons with disability. Academic fee is free for all public universities first years. We are actually restoring back the sharing of sanitary pads so that at least young girls can stay in school with some dignity. And so under SONA, the president must be true to himself and at least come to us with an apology that the good people of Ghana, I have not actually managed the mandate you gave to me well. I apologize.
All these things should reflect in the speech of the president.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
But Auntie Rhoda, at the end of the day, is the fact that usually, irrespective of what the outcomes of the votes are or the elections are, years down the lane, then many leaders get to be seen and judged in posterity. Is that not true?
That's very true.
Yeah. And so what should be those reflections? And if it talks about them, that won't be bad.
I'd like to say good morning to our viewers, wherever they are. State of the Nation address. Well, I will say that, yes, I understand where both my the NDC and the MPP reps are saying this morning. Nanado has chalked some positives, and of course the negatives are also there. I will be expecting to hear more about the negatives coming out, admitting to having failed in certain aspects of governance. I think that although we talk about education and we would give him plus for some aspects of it, the STEM schools, the TVET schools, and the curriculum changes,
free SHS,
free
as
SHS,
a policy implemented,
which is a policy that was so beautiful but shambolically implemented, and therefore we did not get the full benefit of the free SHS. Well, don't look at me like that. I mean, you and I know.
Because the question I want to ask you, what were your expectations?
Yes, so my expectations...
Because the free SHS has been a policy proposition since 2008 from the president.
Yes, and so when you implement a policy of that nature without the requisite logistics, you are bound to fail. We didn't have enough infrastructure. Our curriculum was not built around the increasing numbers that we're going to have in our classrooms and in our dormitories. You can just see the kinds of foods that we're feeding our children. And there were so many other things that was wrong with implementation. So we had finally to go to a traffic light situation. Greens go, yellows come, and all that, which was really bad for us. And it's still bad because what we've gotten is half-baked senior high school students who cannot sometimes even construct a correct sentence. And these are people who would come out with good grades, wanting to enter tertiary education. And they are the future lawyers, the doctors, the nurses, the teachers that we'll have. So for me, that was something, and that is something that I think he didn't really get a complete pass for it. The State of the Nation address must include the pits that he left us, the 132 million pits that he's left us.
132 million?
Yes, the cathedral. I'm told that it's not just for 58, but when you add other things cumulatively, it comes about 150 or 32 million. You understand? And I'm looking at the Heroes Park. You know, we keep talking about the cathedral. We've all forgotten about the Heroes Park, the Founders Park that was supposed to have been built and should have been completed by now. That's one that took away the old passport office, the is it social welfare offices, behind the art center. I passed there yesterday, and I was so.
Okay, as part of the Marine Drive.
Exactly,
project.
and it's still there are still bigger pits in there. If you care to know, you can send your cameras there. You understand? We are being left with that. We're being left with some type of doomsaw. There's still doomsaw sometimes. We are left with galamsey pits. We are left with no proper water for ourselves, and we are left with, you know, commissioned Agenda 111 hospitals and the like. So uncompleted projects that have been commissioned. All these things we are being left with. Meanwhile, we do not have the money. We are left with a debt that we cannot pay, and then we'll start servicing come this year. So I think the State of the Nation address should actually address in detail some of these minuses so that as Ghanaians we know exactly where we stand. We cannot say that it was all rosy, and he cannot, for no reason. He shouldn't come and tell us it was all rosy. It wasn't. He took us through very hard times. And, you know, when I hear people talking about COVID, we didn't die in the thousands like other countries, and they are standing.
I don't understand. We have COVID, Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah, COVID, Russia, Ukraine. Even they lost the elections because of COVID, because of Russia and Ukraine at war. That's the whole thing. I mean, everything. Look, since we started, we're going to win this election because of free SHS. It didn't happen. Then, when we talk about hardship, it's because of Ukraine and Russia and COVID. For goodness sake. But we ended up going to Ukraine to go and look for grains. Yes, we went to Ukraine to look for grains. And then, you know, yesterday, when I saw the topics, I said, look, let me look at what he said in 2024. And in 2024, we're supposed to have been self-sufficient by now, except for poultry production, in cereals, in the production of maize, in the production of onions, in the production of tomatoes. These are all things that are not on the market. Our planting for food failed. It flopped, seriously. And that is how come we are still buying yam, a tuber of yam for 40 cedis and 60 cedis. You understand? So if you look at agriculture, he failed. And I'm looking at transportation. There was so much hype about the railway system. I am still wondering what happened with all the money, all the promises made about transportation and the railroad sector. And still, we are where we are.
The AFCON's project was continued, the Mpakadan to Akosombo.
And it's running. It's running. No, it's functional. I'm asking. You're a journalist. Maybe you travel around. I have not seen it run. The only last time I saw was a test drive of our famous, I don't know why they paint our trains in our national colors. I mean, just painting it red with fine, but this red, gold, green, it looks so much like a...
It's currently white. The new
coaches
put on...
The one that had the accident the very first day that it was launched.
It was white and then
the those are some of the things. I mean, let's face it. I mean, we've just thrown money down the drain. That's a fact. I mean, this government wasted our money. And they have nothing to show for it. And for me, that is something that he must admit. That somehow, yes, we did get the loans, we did get the grants, we did get the monies, but we misused and mismanaged the monies that came. Because I don't see how Ghanaians could be in this position, especially when it comes to agriculture. There was so much. We had tractors brought in, we had fertilizers, we had all manner of things, and still yet we are hungry. We cannot even afford the staples. And then at one time we talk and somebody goes to bring a plantain to the ministries for us to go and buy. You understand? So Nana Addo has done his bits. Yes, he has been president. That has been his wish. He has been able to achieve it, and that is his greatest achievement. Not that he was a great leader for this country. I don't see it that way. And you are right. Maybe there are certain things that he might have done that he has not been able to showcase. His communicators have not been able to showcase. I remember quite 2016, the communicators for the NDC were not able to showcase Mahama's achievements, and that also affected them. So maybe let's just give the benefit of the doubt to the communicators of the NPP that they've not been able to showcase all the good deeds of President Nana Addo, and maybe in the near future, posterity will give him a good judgment.
Nanaya, tomorrow, what will be your state of the nation, Ghana, that you think should reflect in the address of the president?
Roland, let me say good morning to your viewers and good morning to my sisters.
Good morning.
And good morning to yourself.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. May God bless all of us. You see, Nana Addo is a complete error and a mistake.
You cannot say that.
I can say that bestowed on this country.
Posterity will judge.
The day that we voted for him, that is the day we destroyed our nation. Roland, I am telling you. Even the last thing that he has done without remorse, awarding himself as the best president. When I say that Nana Addo has the tendencies of Nebuchadnezzar, people think that I am joking. He awarded himself as the best president. Yes, what is the meaning of that? He is an error, he is a mistake, something that we have bestowed on us. He has brought darkness to this nation. I am serious, please. The state of the nation is my pocket, your pocket, everybody's pocket. That this Christmas we could not even buy chicken. That is the state of the nation. And I do not even know why he's being given this space.
You bought chicken. You cannot say you... Are you saying ordinary Ghanaians averagely?
I'm also an ordinary Ghanaian. Am I not an ordinary Ghanaian? Am I any different from anybody else on the street? I am not. You see, they are saying that it is statutory. But
what is wrong with the award of individuals?
The
individuals in the, for example, I've known Bright Apia, for example, executive director for Child Rights International.
We are not talking about Bright Apia.
There are a number of individuals who also awarded.
Why didn't he award you? You've done a great job as a journalist.
it's
So
he awarded Erasmus Asari Donko.
I am saying that Nanado, even the ministers he awarded, so he's awarding abysmal performance. He's awarding people who could not do well by us, who didn't care about Ghanaians. He was so elated. And when he put that award on Baumi, I said, how can you, which teacher awards failure? 38.1% and you award the person. 38.1% in the scheme of an examination is F9. It's failure. Baumia has failed this nation as an economic messiah that they bestowed on us. Yesterday he was standing in church. First I saw it on TV that now he's home. I don't know what he means by now he's home. But let me continue. State of the nation sooner. I do not understand why we should even give the space to Nanado to come and tell us anything. If he's going to open his mouth, we expect him to speak the truth of his failures. He should speak to us the truth of how he has failed this nation, how he has made us miserable. And it is clear in the kind of voting that we voted on 7 December 2024 that we are fed up with it. He shouldn't even come talking to us. Today, for the first time in my whole life knowing this man, he has wrinkles on his face. He's a worried man. He's wrinkled. I've never seen wrinkles on.
Please, he's old, and let's not get personal here.
No, I'm not being personal. I'm saying that he's stressed, and he knows that he hasn't done well by us, but he took us for granted. He spoke anyhow, said that over his dead body that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will win. He spoke to the Ashantis anyhow, his stronghold, that you can vote for NDC for all I care. On Otek FM, a sister station of yours, he said it. He didn't respect us. Today at that sooner, is it tomorrow at that sooner, he should respect us and speak the truth to us.
What is your truth of Ghana?
My
today?
truth is that Ghana is now in shambles. Ghana is dark. Ghana is no longer bright. The light of Ghana shone when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama won the election. You could see that everybody is up. Today everybody is talking. The headmasters are saying how free SHS has not been implemented properly. Educationists are now talking. Everybody has found their voices because we were under subjugation. People were afraid. And that is the Ghana in which we were. You see, Nanado has taken us to IMF. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says that he's going to renegotiate the IMF. Some people are not happy. I saw this professor,
Steve Hanks.
He's
Hanks. With Johns Hopkins University.
Yes, and
I've been a critic of the Akufo-Addo administration.
Yes, but now, Mr. Excellency John Dramani Mahama has not even sat. He has not even taken office and he's calling him incompetent. That is unfortunate, but it is because of Nanado that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, now that he has not even sat in the Flagstaff as he's being called incompetent. And I'm pleading with the professor that he should go slow, because I don't know the parameters of which he's judging His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for him to call him incompetent. He should go very, very slow. The man has not taken over. If he says he's going to renegotiate the IMF, somebody has left a legacy of nothingness. A legacy of nothingness that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wants to put meaning into it for it to benefit Ghanaians. For instance, the IMF has called the PURC that they should increase tariffs in January.
They have?
Yes, as part of conditionalities. They are also asking the PURC, IMF, World Bank, to go do a full major tariff review in 2025.
For utilities?
Yes. So do you expect His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to sit there, not renegotiate the IMF deal, but to sit and see Ghanaians go through tariff increases in doing so? Yesterday, my lights were off. It keeps going off, on, off. And other people have been complaining. So, Professor Hanks, I beg you, take it easy.
Okay. Now, let's go. For example, if 10 years from today, we have a number of projects for Agenda 111 completed, that'll be the legacy of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. No qualms about that.
That will be a legacy of
Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
The flyovers, the 5 flyovers that we have, that have not been even built to the initial architectural designs by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Who took who is taking credit for it? Is it not His Excellency Nana Addo? He, even when he inaugurated those flags, he never called His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He never even mentioned him. So if somebody starts cutting onions and somebody completes the soup, who prepared the soup?
I don't understand.
You have been in 8 years, you couldn't finish Agenda 111. If somebody comes to finish it for you, it is your legacy. Why didn't, if you wanted that legacy, why didn't you finish it? It is the person, why didn't you finish? You set a precedence that even when you do what? You continue with the programs of your predecessor, you should acknowledge that my predecessor started and I've continued. He says no, everything is for him. Right of kings, Ghana is for him. Ghanaians, we have shown him that sovereignty lies in our hands. And forevermore, we show everybody who mistreats us that sovereignty lies in our hands. And Nana Addo should know that. He ruled this country as if he was a chief in Achim. That even when he was coming, he asked chiefs to stand up, subjugating us, making us feel that he is the all in all. And this is where we are. Even after that, he didn't do well by us. We have food prices increase so high, all-time high. Inflation flip-flopping up and down. Tomorrow it is high, the next week it is low. The highest inflation ever seen in this country is under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, 58.7. Highest inflation.
54.
What 54? Which 54 is this one? Even if it is 54, me, I remember 58. Even if it's 54, is it low?
54 October.
Is it low? I'm asking you. Even 50, is it low? And you are awarding your ministers who didn't do well. Your minister, he should go and tell us how he has failed. And the money that he has collected, which is not commensurate to development. How can you collect all this money, borrow this much money, and you are not able to complete projects? You see, his government is disorganized, totally disorganized. They cannot put pieces together to form a puzzle. Yes, they cannot put pieces together to form a puzzle. They cannot build blocks. They are building blocks. They cannot put blocks together to make a house. They are totally out of 10. Totally disorganized. So if he's going to stand there, then that, I think that sooner should be just one sentence. I failed and I am sorry. So he leaves. You don't want any long talk.
The reality is that the free SHS, the way it's been implemented, which was a progressive one implemented from 2015 by John Dramani Mahama, the way it's been implemented, it's the only way it's been implemented, and that credit should go to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
You see,
irrespective of what the problems.
The free SHS concept is great, but it wasn't implemented properly because he didn't even care. It is like a trademark of Nana Addo and his people. They don't put structure to anything. They don't take, of course, because everything they do is cathedral. Now Auntie is talking about something else. All over the place, they've done things, they touch it, then they don't do anything. They are just totally disorganized. If you were living there with them in the house, you see that their shirt is here, their trousers is there, their knicker is there. That is exactly what it is. That is the picture. They are just disorganized. They don't finish anything. They touch and they'll come and tell us they've done it. But in reality, they wouldn't do anything. They have just taken Ghanaians for granted. They have just lied to us totally. And for me, that is what is very, very important. Just totally lied to us. Deceived us. They have just made us useless as if
planting for food and jobs.
Which planting?
The way it's been conceptualized.
Please, a concept. You see, concepts are different from implementation. Which food did they plant and which job did they create? We have the highest unemployment ratio in this country ever since. So where are the jobs? Even those who went to work under this scheme, they have not been paid. Sometimes you wonder where these people take the money to. I don't know whether they swallow the money or what do they use it for. So much money has come into the hands of this government. But they have to account for it. they have to account for every penny that they took, every peso, every simple. They will pay. They will have to tell us, my dear, Nana, don't you award for yourself. What's your same way be that? And your ministers who have performed abysmally. And your Ghana and Kwana Abitimi say, and get away with it, using taxpayers' money to buy these awards and give it to people, to your ministers. No, seriously, the other people fine, but why your ministers? Apart from a who tried, the rest, what have they done? What have they done? Even me, the one that even makes it. But when somebody has gotten F9.
But that's your opinion about
What is your what has he done? Even the digitalization he's talking about, what has he done about it? He just speaks, he does nothing.
Ellen, which will be despite all the things that people may say, will be the key legacies that in 10 years from now we should be crediting the president for, and that should also reflect in his speech. And then also, which ones we'll take a look at the various sectors. Perhaps he should admit in that speech tomorrow.
I find it quite interesting that people,
and intriguing.
People find it. Well, I have your personal hate towards Nana. It's obvious that some people do hate him on a personal level. But then when you put the personal hate aside, I mean, I don't think His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo expects everybody in this country to like him. The point is that you have to take him for what he has done as president of this country, what we gave him and what he has done. So it doesn't matter your personal feelings towards him. The important thing is that what did he do? The things that he set out to do in his manifesto from let's even use the 2016 manifesto of the NPP, all the way to 2020, and then from 2020, because the 2020 manifesto was a build-up on the 2016 one. His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo did say that he would do the free SHS. In fact, he had been preaching about it for years before 2017. So we'll have to put our emotions aside and then we dissect it. And what's going to be the free SHS, whether you like it or not, is going to be one of Nana's greatest legacies. When he said he would do it, did he do it? Yes, he did it right from day one. So if you're going to do a comparative analysis, we have to pick, and let's not forget, as I keep on saying, that His Excellency John Mahama is a returning president. He's had the opportunity before. So he's done things. He was in power. We saw what he did. He's also given us his manifesto. So we are going to do, in the next few years, we're going to do a lot of comparisons. On education, what has the former president, now incoming president, said he would do? We are going to do it. He said he's going to give the first-year students free tertiary, what? He's going to pay their fees for the first year. When is he going to do it? Those are all the things that we're going to start talking about in his 120-day contract with all of us. Is he going to be like His Excellency Nana Addo, who started the free SHS immediately he took over in September of 2017, or he's going to wait till next academic year, that's the 2026 academic year? We have to look at all that. Then you come into the agric sector. When I checked, when the NDC was leaving power in 2017, the agricultural growth was in the negatives, and it was headed by the current general secretary. He was an agric minister. What is the agric growth now? Yes, there was planting for food and jobs. And I remember the Minister for Agric now, Brian Champon, telling us, I think on this particular station, that there are certain foodstuffs that we do not import again. He gave the example of maize. They gave the example of rice. He said rice were importing a certain percentage. He gave the examples of yam. If I remember, he did say that now yam is 100% what we call grown in Ghana and consumed in Ghana. In fact, some of the problems we're even now having with the yam is that we are rather exporting more yam out. He gave us a breakdown of everything that had happened in the agri sector. Now, you cannot sit here and tell me that it was a total failure just because you don't like Nana Addo or you hate him. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the last 8 years, with everything that the whole world went through, you guys still insisted that he's done nothing. Now Ghanaians are saying, good, we have heard you. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, even though he finished his 8 years, had done nothing. Therefore, they will not vote for Dr. Bawumia, which they didn't. You brought in the, as I call him, the Ajimpa Mahamat. Stop complaining. Stop complaining about Nana Addo's governance. It is over. You have work to do. From in the next 5 days, you will take over. Everybody in the NDC and the affiliates are complaining. Why are you complaining? You are trying to tell us you didn't know the situation in the country. From the former president telling us that we should get ready for doing so. I haven't had doing so in 8 years. My lights have been on. This morning, my lights are on. I live between Kaswa and Spintex.
No doom sign.
I don't have it. So if you are coming in and you have shouted all these years that there's the government...
Between Spintex and Kaswa.
I shuffle between the 2 areas. My dad is in Kaswa, so sometimes I go up and down. And I'm not saying that there's no light off, or the lights doesn't go off periodically for them to do what they have to do. But the sort of doomsday that we experienced in his first term, already come and tell us that there's a debt. And when you were living in 2017 or 2016, you need to leave a debt.
The debt was 122 billion.
What? 122 billion
now,
what? Dollars or cedis?
Ghana cedis. Now we're 800 billion almost.
I don't think so. What I picked from the ministry or the minister is that the debt was about 5.6 billion Ghana cedis, and now we have paid all the way down to about 2.5.
No,
that's what I have. That's what I have. And so if you're telling me that because of and with all that debt, the lights have been on, what are you going to do to make sure that we keep the lights on? You don't start complaining when you haven't taken over. So for me, the NDC shouting and screaming. You know, when you're going around campaigning, I'm sure they have a plan on how to deal with it. And the debt, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo came to meet some. All this debt you are talking about is the debt we have all had from independence till now. So when you were screaming and asking people to vote for you because you're supposed to have experience, you knew what was ahead of you. So for me, the NDC, the affiliates, and everybody should put their hate of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo away. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is done. You hate him at your own peril. You hate him at the expense of your heart pressure. You hate him at the expense of your blood pressure. The man is done. He's gone. Move on. So tomorrow after the sauna, you tell us what he as president that we have entrusted this country to, what he's leaving us. If you decide to go personal on him and call him names, the man is done and he's gone. The one who is coming, what is he bringing? That's what we should be looking at. And that one is also giving us excuses. It's already started with the excuses. We are going to, for me personally, I think we should give the NDC government some time. I mean, they are now taking over the negotiation in 8 years. There's still a lot of things that they have to get their hands around. The 120-day contracts that they said they are bringing, let's give them the 120 days. After the 120 days, we'll all come back and we'll have a discussion. But this continuous vitriol being put in on, continuously insult. We have insulted this man and Dr. Bawumia for more than 8 years. Their work is done. Leave them be. They are done. You have blood pressure, high blood pressure. If you continue insulting them, because they are done.
So the question I asked you was that in 10 years, usually leaders, when they are in office, the citizens and the people tend to criticize their type of governance and claim that development was not up to speed. And so the question, and I'll put the question again, is in 10 years, what do you think Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the Bawumia government would be remembered for? Let's say we're driving around or we're just sitting in a sofa in 10 years, then we can say that 5 main areas.
Okay, let's start.
We have to credit the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government for.
I believe the education system and the changes that have come in, if the NDC, that's what they said they would do in their manifesto, I believe the foundations of it will credit it to the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And then he's done some great infrastructural projects, including Greater Accra is one region. Yes, they didn't vote for us, but it's one region that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has put in a lot of effort in terms of infrastructure. I would just have to look at the overpass on the Spintex Road. That's a beautiful edifice. The one at Ubechepi Lamte, the Kanishi area. It's beautiful. The Pukwasi one, beautiful.
The second phase,
and then we also look into health. I mean, one of the benefits of COVID that I believe we've had as a country is the fact that it was identified that we had over 80 districts in this country that did not have hospitals. And when we were hit with COVID and nobody could move out of Ghana, we all had to get our healthcare here. That's when we all realized that we've not been fair to ourselves in the last 50-something years. So Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's push for us to get the agenda 111 hospitals. Yes, some has been completed. Definitely not all can be. But if the former...
Tomorrow, when he's giving that State of the Nation address, how many can we say?
He would have to tell us. I think that they are done with about 30, but that's my thinking.
30.
That's what I think. But he will have to let us know. I'm sure tomorrow under health he will let us know what it is. But whether His Excellency John Dramani Mahama continues it, he went to promise in a draft that he will continue it. Let's hope that he would, because as much as there's a lot of politics about it, it is for the health benefits of our people. Also in the health sector, this thing of dialysis and that the national health insurance and the childhood cancers and then the other cancers, that includes the cervical cancer and head prostate cancer too, they are all treated under the national health insurance. We have to continue with it because our citizens are benefiting from it. The rollout started in 1st December, and I know they are still going about it. It has to continue because our citizens need it. So that's under health. And under the agric sector, I believe that if we do continue with the push of making sure that we grow what we eat here and then send the rest out, it's one of the best things that we can do. Then we can go on to the district, the one district, one factories. The last time I checked, I knew that the district, the one district, one factories that are working, we have over 50. That's when I checked. I don't know if there's any functional,
daily
operational. We have over 50. There are some that are in different stages of completion and different stages of working. And then remember, there was also an argument in Parliament over tax waivers for some of these one districts, a number of them. I don't know how that is going to end. But if we do continue and give them, if we have to look at the tax waiving system and look at those factories and what they're going to produce would help us, I don't see why we shouldn't help them. After all, we give tax waivers to a lot of companies that do not directly affect us. So these ones would affect us and in our production to make sure that we stop bringing in so much, because that is what kills us. The importation and our taste for foreign goods. These are all the things that this government started. And this government intends to continue to be good. But then let's not forget that this administration coming in, as I said, they've been in before. They've had a history of abandoning projects. They've had a history of not doing what their predecessors done. His Excellency John Ajekun Kufuor built those affordable houses in Kumasi around the Mampong area. It had to take this government to come and finish it after over 15 years. We still have the Saglame issue to sort out. It was started by the Part 1 John Mahama. I don't know if Part 2 John Mahama can finish it because they started the whole Saglame matter with all the issues that goes about it. They didn't abandon it. I mean, we went through all the systems and all the court matters. Let's not forget that the Saglame issue is still in court. So sometimes when you're talking about it, you have to be careful. But then I think Ghanaians have given His Excellency John Mahama a second chance to prove to all of us that he would also leave a legacy, because his first time he didn't leave any legacy. He rather left us debt, he left us wahala, he left us problems. But going forward, Ghanaians have given the opportunity. I hope that in the next 4 years he will not disappoint Ghanaians. But I can also promise him and the NDC incoming government that the same measure that they gave to His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo in checking his policies, in going at him, in going at his policies, we can promise them that after the 120 days, it will be pressed down, shaking together, and running over for this current incoming administration. We will keep them on track.
Okay, so should I say to wait? Am I able to teach in the bubble ban?
But to say they are soaking, it will kerosene in petrol.
Right. This is what the John Mahama government is coming to meet, because we still have a lot of deficits when it comes to some level of imports for some key areas and products. And this one, was made public and published by the Ghana Trade Advocacy Network. And before the election, they had indicated that when it comes to tin tomatoes, we import $1 billion annually, $800 million worth of rice. When it comes to sugar and confectionery, sweet things to put in your pudding and all that, $300 million. That's our imports. For flour, $600 million. From Burkina Faso, we import $100 million, just Burkina Faso, that's $100 million worth of tomatoes, raw tomatoes. You go to Agbogloshi, you'll find it. And then cooking oil, $300 million. Fish, $45 million. When it comes to poultry and meat, $400 million. $400 million. Tea-roll and tissue, $100 million. Soaps and cosmetics, $200 million. Plastics, $500 million. Paper, $600 million. As for the cars and those things, I'll just leave that one. But textiles, for example, we have a number of industries here. $250 million, we're importing that. And then we have beverages that we'll drink, the one that Casa and the rest do. We still import $200 million worth, and pharmaceuticals, $750 million. That's what you're coming to meet. Import substitution is needed. How should the president address that tomorrow as what he is leaving us?
Now, Roland, let me reiterate something that Nana Addo Akufo-Addo said in his first State of the Nation's address. And that's what I'm saying that...
You mean in 2017?
In 2017. And so when you judge him by what he promised to do, against the results you are mentioning to us, he stated, and I quote, that he would ensure the implementation of an aggressive program for export development. Can't you see the variance between the pledge that he made and the levels of importation that you are telling us this morning? And that is why President Mahama was right. And will always be right when he tells Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia that be careful the way you criticize the presidency, because you have not been there before. Now today, you deceive your way into power. Ghanaians give you the mandate. And then you come back with all these results that you are sharing with us, Roland. And this is the reason why the NPP will stay in opposition for a long time. The reasons are two key things. It is how they see nothing wrong with their incompetence. And it is also the way they won't take responsibility for anything. If the NPP were taking responsibility for their incompetence, the award ceremony we saw would never have happened. Now, if they actually would take responsibility for anything, they will not continually blame COVID, Russia, Ukraine. They will blame everything and anybody under the sun but themselves. And so I think that this morning, I'm tempted to agree with the continuing name of Achimesium. I hope I get the name right. Nana Buedi Ampum. Nana, I got your name wrong, forgive me. When he says that Ghana should never have a president like Nana Addo Akufo-Addo ever again. Because you see, you will lie your way into power, you will mismanage funds, and then you will come back and carry yourself in such a way that I can't be blamed. Anytime you want to hold the NPP accountable, people say you hate Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. Hey, then they hated John Dramani Mahama because what they took the man through in this country today. If you want to hold them accountable,
I think what she's trying to say is that don't let your personal problems,
what is personal about
your personal opinions, perhaps mask what he has done,
Roland,
irrespective of the outcome of the
results you read, were they your personal opinions? Roland, The fact that President Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia can scam God and scam men of God with integrity in this country, is that our personal opinion? Is that what we are being told at this table? Roland, the fact that you can order chiefs about when you can't put your own daughter to check at a national ceremony she was on phone, is that a personal opinion? Or we all saw that? Roland, the fact that the Afrobarometer report says that President Nana Akufo-Addo has held you journalists with stiff-handedness, is that our personal hatred for Nana Akufo-Addo? So Afrobarometer, they all hate Nana Akufo-Addo. Are we saying that if you feed free SHS students rotten moshosho rice, and we come here and critique, we hate Nana Akufo-Addo? Is that what we are being told? But I'm happy about one thing, that the victims who suffered the Akosomo spillage, the people of Ekumfi, who Nana Akufo-Addo told them in the face that you don't even deserve any good thing from me because you don't vote for me, at least they can hear a sigh of relief. The unemployed youth in this country who killed to vote for Nana Akufo-Addo and has actually doubled and tripled the unemployment rate in this country, picking it from 8%, which is so much criticized, to over 14%. The unemployed youth will not forgive Nana Akufo-Addo, and tomorrow he needs, it is a must to actually apologize to the youth of Ghana. He also has to apologize to the youth of Ghana and the good people of Ghana for the one corruption scandal that he has given us. And I must assure the NPP that not even a CD that has illegally gone into any pocket will stay there. And I repeat, the Operation Recover All Loot would be a form of accountability to ensure that monies that have been illegally paid, fraudulent monies into the pockets of family and friends in all the scandals that we have seen, would be retrieved. If that is what will be used to serve our free SHS students better food, if that is what President Mahama will use as dedicated funding for the free SHS, I am for it. Ghanaians can't actually afford to feed themselves. And we have a president who would want to bath in the sky and then come back and award himself. Roland, if not for anything at all.
The president was not said to be bathing in the sky. I think we have to put the matters into perspective.
Is very intelligent. And so when they say that your performance is abysmal and we are kicking you out of office, you don't come back and show us such levels of disrespect by actually awarding yourself. Remember how he told us that he was coming to protect the public purse, and then he will not entertain corruption by using the Anas principle. Where is the Anas principle? Today, tomorrow in Isona, he must admit that indeed he was the mother serpent of corruption. You can't tell me on this platform one corruption fight of President Nana Akufo-Addo, to the extent that in the case of Galamsey, which I so much also relate to corruption, you form a committee, they submit a report to you, and the committee worked with state resources, the taxpayers' money, and you actually confiscate the report. President Akufo-Addo has never meant well for the good people of Ghana. It is reflective on how far he has brought us. Unemployment has worsened. The city is up above the roof. They borrowed and over-borrowed and over-borrowed. You remember the NPP telling us that if governance is all about borrowing, then one of their 18-year-old sons can manage the economy. Today, they are over-borrowed and they've been canned out of the capital market. This is the scorecard of Nana Akufo-Addo. Never again should Ghana have a president like Nana Akufo-Addo. The aged, who he actually seized their bonds and refused to pay their coupons, and some of them had to lose their lives. For those who are dead, he may not be able to apologize to them, but he has a golden opportunity to actually apologize to those who are alive. He has not done right by the good people of Ghana. Tomorrow's Sona must be an admission. Tomorrow's Sona must be an apology. Tomorrow's Sona must be a bold confession that the good people of Ghana, I have let you down. As simple as that. Nothing more, nothing
to credit him for.
What you see, so the NPP has the tendency of saying that it is the free SHS, right? And I agree with
But is it
Naya
not true that the way the free SH has been
to
introduced
say that
is a legacy of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
it is, and undoubtedly it is. But for the NPP to carry itself, that even in the incompetent nature in which they have actually managed the free SHS, it doesn't need a review. They would be in opposition for a long time. It took the resilience of Ghanaians. It took the resilience of journalists, and maybe journalists like you, to let the NPP know that review does not mean cancellation. It was there and then that they came to the admission that there is the need for a review. Remember when the free SHS started? Hey, touch not my free SHS. Even when you prefer constructive criticism, the NPP says that you are anti-free SHS. Today, the scorecard is the traffic light we saw as education. Today, the scorecard is that students are in school 3 weeks, they vacate and stay home 3 months, they come back 2 weeks, and then the next term is starting. The scorecard of the free SHS is that parents say that for some of us, we are actually willing to contribute to the free SHS. And so all these indications point to the fact that the free SHS really needed a review. If Nana Addo Akufo-Addo meant well for the free SHS, if Nana Addo Akufo-Addo meant well for the Ghanaian students, if Nana Addo Akufo-Addo meant well for the Ghanaian parents, he would have listened to the calls by these parents and these stakeholders that the free SHS needed a review. Now, in wrapping up, I repeat, tomorrow it must be an apology. Tomorrow it must be a bold confession that I have failed the good people of Ghana. Anything short of that is not the true state of Ghana.
Madam Rodaline, what admission should he be making based on what you've witnessed is the state of Ghana tomorrow?
I don't think Nana Addo is going to make any admissions, aside the fact that globally things were not okay and therefore it affected the Ghanaian economy. That's something that he's continuously said. He will tell us about the Ukraine war. He will tell us about COVID. And then he will tell us the effects that the war between Ukraine and Russia have affected us. But, Roland, I would want us to start this year on a different note. I think that as Ghanaians, we should go a bit down on the politicking and take up a lot more social issues. No matter how good a person you are as president.
I don't understand. We should be talking about
I'm just coming to say that, okay. You see, as we sit here, we're talking about Nana Addo. And of course, it is true that when you're a leader, you take the good and you take the bad. In the same way, we'll be expecting JDM. When things don't go right, we will blame him. When they go right also, we'll praise him. But you work with human beings. JDM alone cannot do all the things, just like Nana Addo did not do all the things. I've always wanted to look at two sides of a coin. Looking at a person coming with a vision, and then looking at those who will help him to be able to bring out that vision. There were 3 policies in the MPP that, for me, would have been game changers for this country.
Would have been?
Yes.
Not have been?
No, they haven't been, but they would have been.
Well, what do you mean by that?
You see, planting for food and jobs. 1 district, 1 dam. 1 district, 1 factory. If we had 1 district, 1 dam, that would have brought us planting for food and jobs. And out of planting for food and jobs would have come 1 district, 1 factory. That would have been a game changer.
You mean the value chain?
The value chain. It would have been such that unemployment would have been reduced in this country. This importation we are talking of tomatoes, of onions, of yams and whatnot, it would have been history for us. But somehow, these were things that we had. These were things that made us to believe that a government of the MPP under Nana Addo was going to do wonders for this country. And therefore, 2016, every Ghanaian went out and voted for them to the extent that they had over 1 million votes. So, looking at the way things are, I think that tomorrow, if Nana Addo has to say anything at all, he must apologize first.
Apologize?
Yes, first for believing in the people that he brought on board to help him to govern this country. Yes, because you see, although the buck stops with him, he delegated certain jobs to various people, Ghanaians, who also believed in the story of Ghana, to deliver, and they didn't. He had the opportunity to sack them or to fire them, he didn't. After all, he had the opportunity to hire them, and therefore we expected him to fire them when they were not doing the right things, but he didn't. So all the time we blame him. I am saying this because JDM, John Mahama, is coming into government also with people. He's going to be also hiring people. He's going to be expecting those people to also deliver on all the vision that he has for this country. If those people fail him, it will be failure on John Mahama's part. And therefore, as we go through this year, as we talk to our leaders, let us also remind them that you have to go out there and look for the right people, people who also believe in your vision, people who have that capacity to be able to deliver to the people of this country. It shouldn't be friends, cronies, and family members, as we saw in the Nana Addo administration, which let him down. We're talking about importation of food.
Yeah, I read out the numbers.
The numbers. Complete, I mean, you ask yourself, how come a country that is full of people who believe in agriculture, we are an agrarian country, and we believe in the soil. How come? During the First Republic, we had food in abundance. We had factories. Look, when we look at the factories that were built by the first president, from the jute factory, because we had cocoa, we needed the jute sacks and all that. You understand? From the oil mills in the northern parts of this country, the granite oil mills, the cotton ginneries. If all those things were were there today, we wouldn't even have to import all these things. Look at the Akosombo textiles. We had Akosombo textiles, Japon textiles, the GTP. Then we had Anitex. We had so many textile factories in this country, and they were all depending on local cotton
production.
Local cotton that was grown in the north, and those places are now concrete. So when you have a government meaning and thinking of agriculture, ask, where are you going to get the lands from? Because most of the lands today are concrete. They have turned to buildings, high rises and the likes. You understand? So we have a problem. And we must have the political will to stop our cronies from being the importers. If you go and drive deep into why we import so much, it's because these same people who import these goods are those who finance our political parties. The major importers of chicken, rice, sugar, they are all, if you look through it deeply, you will see that they are the ones that actually finance political parties. We must have a political will to stop it and make sure that we go back to the soil. Agriculture must be in the top place. This is the way I see it. So as for tomorrow, Nana Addo is just going to come and tell us that due to these things, Russian-Ukraine COVID wars, we did not. But he believes that he has done well. And that's for him. We cannot take that away from him. That is what he believes in. And like Nanaya said, the Ghanaian knows what is supposed to be in the sona, because we can feel it in our pockets. And therefore, we will say that he didn't do well. Probably, posterity will judge him that he has done well. But looking at the way we go around trying to make it look like probably everything is going to be rosy, we should all
brace up
for rough times, because apart from everything else, we depend on rainfall. In this particular 20th century, we are still depending on rainfall. If anyone tells me that we had any excess maize, that's a lie. Else we wouldn't be buying kinky for 5 cedis and 10 cedis and 7 cedis. You understand? Which means that the rains did not come. And once the rains did not come, or we had erratic rainfall, it means that our food chain was broken. So that's how come today onions are expensive. Maize is expensive. Everything else is expensive. Even yams. You know, when Kwashiga was a Greek minister.
You mean Major Courage?
Major Courage.
Under the Kufu administration.
Under the Kufu administration. New yam met old yam.
Explain.
When we have yams.
You mean the seasonal?
Yes, the
change?
seasonal.
Okay.
What it means
Of
is
the cultivation.
that exactly. It meant he put in so much effort as a Greek minister, so much that by the time that Ghanaians would have felt that yams were getting out of the market, new yams were already there. And it was because he was very particular. He was heads on with his job. That is what we need.
Would you say that he's been our best Greek minister under the Fourth Republic?
I would want to agree so. I would want to agree so because you see, we've had Greek ministers, but this was one time during the Kufu administration that at least you could see that someone was interested to the extent that he even went to I think Israel to check on how to do stuff and stuff.
They plant in the rocks.
Exactly, and all that. This present government went to Israel. Yes, they sent people to Israel to learn how to do greenhouse farming, vegetables and the likes. Where is it? Where is it? So somehow we are not doing what we are supposed to be doing. And we have to get the right people to come in and do the right things. One person, John Mahama alone, cannot do it. One person, Nana Akufo-Addo, could not do it. So I am saying that as Ghanaians, let's all put our hands together and let's all support the next coming government. I don't want to hear my sister saying, Ellen saying that, you know, we'll be watching. Yes, we will be watching. But I would like to say that right now, let us put those differences aside and let's all come together, okay? And make sure that it works. Because I know she'll be laughing because you see, it should be possible.
Oh,
it should be possible because at the end of the day, this kind of equalization, the equalization is. Oh, and then the baby on the part, Mr. Kano, I want the two sides. Mr. Kano, I want me now. But I'm trying to say that if we love this country, we should not be sitting down and expecting that it will fall so that we can have the last laugh.
Right.
We should all put our hands on deck and help this country move on.
Okay. The 2017 budget, I'm just at Appendix 1A on real growth of the sectors. And for our Greek, the only time we had negative was 2007, negative 1.7. And so it's been positive growth throughout the period. However, to be more specific, 2016, it was 3.6. Just to correct. But you take a look at what the admissions should be to stay on course for the president. The president, what should he admit and say, I take credit for, but this, I need realistically to say that maybe I fell short. And this is the legacy I'm living.
You see, I mean, he's not going to say anything negative, and you know. But we have, I think we have overstretched.
Overstretched.
We expect him to say. We all agree.
Should we get on to the second topic?
Yeah, the three of us all agree that he has to apologize. But you see, I want to come to the point where it is being said that somebody hates the president and that it is personal. Anado is not even worth hating. He's not worth envying. Do you get me? I mean, his legacy that he has is nothing to write home about. Why should we hate him? He's not our friend. You don't have a personal relationship with Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency. Do you get me? The only thing that we have with him is a social contract. He is our employee. We pay him. You use our taxpayers' money to make him comfortable. So you don't hate your employee, you sack your employee if your employee is not doing well. And that is what we have done. Nobody hates His Excellency Nana Addo. He's not our friend. He's not our relative. We don't know him. We know him only on the ballot and by the things that he said to us as a social contract. So if anybody trivializes what we're talking about, that's because we hate him. That is very grass. It's very crass, very low for anybody to say that we hate Nana Addo. We don't hate him. We don't know him. He's not our friend. So why
but
do
you know him?
We don't know him.
On a personal basis, you know him?
We don't know him. He's not our friend. I know you. You are my friend. We've gone way back.
But you know Nana Addo. You cannot say, if you know me, then you know Nana Addo.
No, we go way back. Me and you.
You even know more than Nana Addo.
I am saying that me and you, we go way back. I can say that.
The president has been in the political life of the
but
country
he's not our friend.
Oh, okay.
As far as we are, he's not our friend. We brought him there. We voted for him. So we can't hate him. If he does good by us, we like it. We have asked him to run this country for us, run our resources, run our properties, manage our finances as Ghanaians. So we don't know him. If you use the word hate, it is very meaningless, inconsequential, abysmal. It is not a straight argument. Do you get me? So that word hate doesn't mean anything, because you employ somebody to do a job and you pay the person for doing a job. You see, in my leadership and governance masterclass, I was taught that leadership is cause and everything is the effect of leadership. If you're a leader and you have people working with you and they are not doing good, Roland, as you sit here, if you are not, moderating this panel properly, your boss is watching. You'll be reprimanded. You'll be asked that, Roland, you should have done ABC. That's why you have this in your ear. Your producer is watching you. Do you get me? So you, the leader, if things are not going right and you cannot sack your people, how can you put the responsibility on anybody else? You have the right to fire and hire. Ghanaians have employed you to sit there. We also have a right to hire and fire. And you have fired the MPP. You see, if they don't learn to be responsible for their mistakes, if they don't learn humility, if they don't learn what it takes to serve, if they don't become servant leaders, then I do not think that...
So you are claiming that they are not admitting that there were mistakes?
They are not admitting. You see, they are not admitting that there were mistakes, and there were mistakes. You see, COVID, I don't even want to talk about it. If you get a disease, and out of this disease, you get about $3 billion to $4 billion, that disease wasn't bad at all. For you to get money to even support your budget because of that disease, then it is not bad at all. Do you get the insults? Insults, how many times did they insult everybody? They insulted His Excellency Mahama, they insulted people. They insulted everybody around who said that they were not doing right. And I am happy that today they've seen the results of their work. They said that Bili are kind. They said that in Kete whatever are kind. Because we were complaining, because we were talking about. You see, we will talk till 7 December. We will condemn them. We will tell them what they did wrong.
You mean 7 January?
7 January. Okay. Till 7 January, after His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has been sworn in. Today, Nana Addo is in power. He has not left. Even tomorrow after the Sona, he has not left. When His Excellency Mahama is sworn in, that is when he leaves. Right. So whatever he has done wrong, whatever he has done right, we will talk about it.
So the baton hasn't changed, you say?
Has it changed?
Okay. Now, at the High Court, just spend some 3 minutes on this. Now, we know that the ruling will be on the 4th, and certainly that would also, and that's on a Saturday. We've been very speedy about these. What's your observation so far from the way we've maneuvered from the court, and then outside what had transpired in relation to the contested seats?
Next time I won't sit here, because I'm always last and you cut my testimony.
I apologize.
So I'll sit there.
The baton hasn't changed.
So the point is that I don't understand all these recoalition. I don't know what's going on.
You are saying we shouldn't even be here?
Why should we be here? People have been declared winners, and now we are going back to recoalition. We can't find pink sheets and all that. What is this? When you lose, you lose.
Oh, how?
If you have lost, you have lost. You have to accept the fact that you have lost. You don't have to manipulate and machinate the system to get some kind of a respectable minority in parliament. You have lost. Why are we here? People have been declared winners. You say, no, we don't agree. It is not true. Look at Dom Kwabenya. They put this poor girl through so much. Today she has been declared the winner.
You mean they put her through what?
They said
the electoral dispute.
No, what is the electoral dispute? The lady was declared. The man said he does not agree. I mean, for me, even a man to fight with a woman over a seat, we need women in parliament. And when we say the MPP, they don't even like women. You say that we are... No, but I'm saying that this is a lady who has worked and has won. You say you don't agree.
No, it's a contest.
I am saying that she won. I saw her.
Actually, we carried it live here.
Yes, I watched it when we were doing those programs. The Christmas.
No, it's not Christmas. Election commences. Ghana decides. 2024.
2024. We were here.
You were one of.
I was here with you, and it was declared on TV, and we all saw it.
But if there's a contest and there are concerns, you are saying that the competing party should not raise issues.
Concerns about what? There is always evidence of pink sheets. This is the number. That is the number we've all signed. You put everything on the wall of the polling station. That this is what this person got. You collate everything and it's together. Why are we here? You see, Roland, the point is that whatever it is, NDC has a majority, overwhelming majority in parliament. Afenyo Markin says spiritual direction, and now the thing has overturned. But you see, Roland, what I am interested in this, your import, and I wish you could put everything together. If I could get that, you put all the amounts together. Do you get me? And divide it by 17 cedis. Now it's 14. And let's see how much money does it. If this amount of money in cedis is chasing dollars, changing from cedi to dollar, certainly we will have a depreciation of our cedi. Ken Ofori-Atta came to Parliament 2022 and said that they have put together an import substitution committee. We were all clapping. Till to date, we don't know what happened to that import substitution committee. And as Auntie Rhoda Lynn said, most of these people are what? Importers who look after political parties. But I would say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama should turn Guta into an industrial group.
So they should move from just importing.
Because if they have this amount of money, they could easily do one district, one factory. Do you understand me? Coming together as a group with this kind of money, that's why I want to, the total amount of money being spent on imports. Roland, this money put together, we can build factories to create jobs.
I think 2022 in the budgets, Ken Ofori-Atta said it was in excess of 10 billion.
Yes.
It was close to 11 billion.
Dollars.
I remember.
Yeah, so if we have this amount, this amount of money,
but that's for all the sectors.
I'm saying that let's even say that 50% of it we are producing to sell.
Import substitution.
Yes, that's import substitution, and 50% will be imported, gradually phasing it out. Do you get me? To augment of the what they couldn't produce, and I think that. Pardon. But I am saying that. So 10 billion is quite a lot. Yes, it's a lot. You said $25 million. Yes.
Yeah. We import 100 million tomatoes from.
Yeah, yes, but we have the resources here
to be able to
be able to do it. Tomato puree. I know they do some tasty tom and all that, but we can increase it because we use a lot of tomatoes.
Break the words down. Puree is tomato paste.
Tomato paste. Okay. Then the plantain chips. You see plantain chips, we let our plantain get rotten on the market. When you travel abroad everywhere,
very expensive. Go
to most of the shops, you find plantain chips. We can do plantain chips and export. That is another factory. Do you get me? So I think His Excellency John, and I know he can do it. I mean, when people are talking that he won't do it and they have a sharp knife and cane for him, it's funny because the man can do it. The man can do it. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, yeah, he will do it. The man is a serious person. Auntie, if you say that the people he's going to work with, that one I agree with you. But for him himself, but this time he should sack them. If he gives you work and you are not going to help him achieve his legacy, he should let you go.
Ellen,
the people are going to take jobs.
The seats under dispute. What's your observation so far? Now it's the High Court says they'll do the final ruling on the subject of the mandamus. The NDC's objections on the mandamus were dismissed. subsequently. And so we're going to have by your observation generally, whether it's a court or by outside.
Domi Kwabenya and Eze Ablekuma, the Odoko area, the two women, where the two men are. Eze Ablekuma North. Those ones.
Ablekuma North.
Yes, those ones are not subject of the current court issues. No, they were not. That one, the EC.
And all that.
No, the EC. The EC did tell us that they hadn't finished collating those two constituencies. So when they were declaring or redeclaring for the other seats, they were not part. So when they went to court, they were not part. So those ones, the EC have to deal with it. They've dealt with Domi Kwabenya. So they now have to deal with the Ablekuma North one. That's for the EC. Now it's up to the court to determine or to whether the mandamus application by the MPP.
Whether recollation should take place.
All that. And this one, I don't see what the problem is. If you don't understand anything in an election petition or in an election, you send it to court and you allow the court to determine it. And if your pink sheets are right, I mean, elections are declared at the polling stations. Elections are declared, election results are declared at the polling stations. I don't see how this is so difficult to count the polling station, the numbers there, put it together, and then we go. But then when the law gets in, the law takes its time. It will go through the whole process. So on the 4th, and the 4th is not too far, it's just Saturday, the court will give its ruling. And I believe we can.
What's your general observation about how the EC has acted?
I think
in terms of how it's organized and was able to.
The EC would have to do quite a lot of systemic changes.
You think it was very chaotic?
It has to do a lot of systemic changes because if both political parties, the MPP in 24 hours after we voted knew we had lost by 12 midnight on the 7th, when we looked at the figures coming in, it was obvious we had lost. And that's why Dr. Baumia the next day came out to say that it's done. And then it has to take EC how many days to put their system together. I'm sure the NDC knew by 12 midnight that they had won. So why should both political parties know our stance? And the referee in the middle, it took 5 days.
Do you think that the EC needs a lot of reform?
They need to go dig it out.
Or they are just incompetent?
The EC needs to go dig it out, like both political parties have gone dig it out. It's as simple
and
as
make it transparent for everybody to see.
Right from the inception, going into the elections, if you remember, it was right here. I didn't get them why they said they were not going to give some observers. You say you won't give them, Whether you give it to them or you don't give it to them, we all know the results because the results are from the polling stations. So the observers do not even need to come to you. They came to you as a matter of courtesy. But then they made a mountain hole, they made a whole anthill out of the small matter. So the EC really needs to look at it's the total, how they run their whole system. And I also did say here that when you are in opposition, that is when you and the EC, you have conversations. So I can bet the EC that the MPP is going to have quite a number of conversations with them.
When you're in power, you don't have conversations.
When you're in power, you don't really have a lot of conversations with the EC because you are busy setting up your systems. But when you're in opposition, that is when you have conversations with the EC. The MPP in our history have always had very beautiful conversations with them. So this issue of why should both political parties declare a whole 12 hours after elections, or less than 12 hours after elections, and it has to take a state institution. With all the monies that have been given to you, it had to take you 5 days. I mean, the AC has to work on this matter. But when the court case does come in, you have to see to the logical conclusion of the court case. And I believe that they will do it and get all the properly elected parliamentarians into parliament. The 4 seats, it will not change anything in parliament.
I don't understand.
It will not change the position of any party in parliament. When they add the 4 seats to the MPP, we are still a minority. If they add it to the NDC, they are still a majority. In fact, His Excellency John Mahama is even complaining that he has too many MPs. So I think
what he said was that he said at the church that he came to pray there and then his expectations were overmet.
Yes.
If that
God blessed him, he has a lot. So now he has a lot of MPs. So these 4 will not do anything to him. Neither will these 4 do anything to the MPP. So the EC should just go ahead and get their work done and let us move on.
Now, 2 minutes for you. What your own observations generally outside the court issues?
To say that I'm not sure President Mahama has made any excuse anywhere Roland, you shouldn't entertain such admissions on those your very.
Okay, so
say what exactly President Mahama said. You can't say it is an excuse.
Let's not fight. So
I have the majority of
please,
MPs
so it's okay. So it's okay.
It is not
So
an
he
excuse.
was at an Assemblies of God church in Tamale.
So Roland, was that an excuse?
And said that prior to the voting.
Mentioned he was making excuses.
And said
that he hasn't made excuses.
Okay, and said prior to the voting, he came there to ask God
and that is
and
not
so
an excuse. Roland, is that an excuse? Is that an excuse?
Yes, it's been corrected. So my clarification was that he said his expectations were over.
Anyway, so give me my 2 minutes.
In relation to his prayer.
So now it's my 2 minutes.
I've seen the publication, but that's not what John Mahama said.
To say that.
So this one will not make any difference to anything that will happen.
Please let me have my 2 minutes.
He never said
Your
he
2
has
minutes are
enough.
up anyway.
Yes, he never said that.
He never said that.
He has enough
has to be
MPs.
corrected. He never
He said he had enough
All right.
He
MPs.
said that in
He
relation
said
to his
he had
prayer.
enough MPs.
In relation to his prayer.
He has enough MPs. He doesn't need more.
Yeah, he never said that.
He never said that.
And meant that.
Roland,
What he meant is not the matter of it. He said he has enough.
any
And it's not
excuse.
about what he said, it's
He
about
has
what the
enough
people
MPs.
want.
What
So
he
he has
said
enough.
is in showing gratitude to God,
To God.
for
In relation-
bountiful
yes.
blessings.
He can show gratitude to God, but others can.
And then when you were talking, I sat
He has
here.
enough
I
MPs.
sat here. I've sat
I think the
here.
clarification has been made.
Please,
The president
let Ellen know I
elect
sat here
didn't
as
say
she
that.
spoke.
They say that.
To
Please go
say
ahead.
that, as far as the interject, I'll still take my 2 minutes from that. What I'm saying is that President Mahama has not made any excuse. I repeat, he made that speech in gratitude to God for bountiful blessings, simply put. Now, on the election matter, Roland, you see, no attempt by the NPP to circumvent the will of the people will succeed. And the NPP is simply dazed at their humiliating, their shameful defeats, and would want to actually go on a mission to invoke the laws, and in my estimation, in ways that will worsen their defeats. See, they would have a relapse. They will relive the 7th December defeats. If I were the NPP, this mission, I wouldn't actually run this mission.
Which mission?
Or embark.
Going to court.
What I'm saying is that it is the mission to circumvent the will of the people, and it wouldn't happen. Now, according to PNDC Law 284, if you are going to court on an election petition, you don't go with a mandamus. You go with a prerogative writ. Is that all right? I'm sure by now you know, you and I, we know. Now, if you go to court, they went to court with as much as like 6 mandamus to compel the EC to declare results. And Roland, haven't we seen those declarations already? Why should the EC declare an electoral officer or a returning officer declare, for example, Rodeling as MP-elect? And then the NPP would say that we don't agree. When on the face of the pinches, you have actually lost it. This attempt in court, for me, is an attempt in futility. They are just about to relive their loss in December. They are about to worsen the woes of their base. And to let the good people of Ghana know that the NDC, led by our very distinguished Director Legal, Eduji Tamaklo, and I'm sure by now you've monitored him in court. And for me, in my mind, my anticipation is that it should go in the way of the NDC. These 4 seats, no matter how the NPP tries to, deceive their followers, we are going to get it in addition to ours, it won't yield any results for them. It would add up to the NDC's numbers in Parliament. And to let Ghanaians know that in all this super majority that the NDC has received from them, we are going to use it for the benefit of Ghanaians. We were in this country when the current majority leader was fighting over seats and I'm the majority. See, that is how God shames shameless people. What I'm saying is that you abysmally manage your constituencies. You call the bluff of people. You can't be bothered. People caution you. You said, don't caution me. People constructively criticize you. You said, no, don't come near me. this is what I want to do, and my fixation is doing wrong, and it is the wrong the NPP wanted to do. Now, the good people of Ghana go to the polls, they vote against you, and your scorecard is that it's an F9 for you. Even in parliament, you become a micro minority or minority in kete for a lack of a better expression, and you think that you can invoke the laws in ways that are not appropriate. Roland, I'm sure you can hear interjections of people playing things on their phone, and you can't be bothered. Is that an invitation for me to do same?
Please wrap up.
Roland, is that an invitation for me to do same?
No, it's not an invitation. Please wrap up.
I've ended my submission.
All right, thank you very much. Please wrap up. What's your own observation, just in 2 minutes?
I don't see how we can sit here again and be talking about seats. If it is true that elections are won at the polling stations, and to date we are still arguing about seats, parliamentary seats, I think this is an indictment on Jean Mensah. This particular election has really stretched her, and it has shown the hollow nature of some of her policies. I think that we need to ask them to look at certain portions of their regulations, because somehow I don't see how almost how many days after an election we are still fighting over seats. I'm expecting that the 4 that were sworn in will still have an opportunity to go to Parliament, and I'm expecting the court to do the right thing. I should also think that the Electoral Commissioner, Jean Mensah, should actually take a back seat. You know, I keep asking myself, what exactly does she want? What is wrong with Jean Mensah? What's wrong with it? No, because she seems to be manipulating issues from somewhere. And I'm asking, I mean, this is something that happened at a polling station. Everyone has a pink sheet. And when people say they don't have pink sheets, I don't understand. First and foremost, we were told that at the end of counting, we will have these things pasted on the notice boards or on the walls. So let people go back and take those figures. Let's just put the figures together and get the people that are supposed to be members of parliament. And that would end the whole thing. But this whole thing of bringing pink sheets, some are having it on their phones, some are having it on their tablets, some are having it elsewhere.
It surprises you?
It surprises
that
me.
They don't have the physical
that
one?
You don't have the physical, and yet you have it on your phone or you have it on your tablet. Why did you put the original one? Let's face it. I mean, most of us go around with our driving license on our phones, and we know where the physical ones are. We just don't, you know, unless you've lost it. And how did they lose it? You know, and so I think that the EC must be up and doing. I've already classified her as a very incompetent EC. My mind hasn't changed, and I still think that she's...
You think we need reforms there?
I think we need great reforms. Lots of changes.
Changes?
Yeah.
All right, let me read a couple of comments. Totally this one is coming from Hajia Loratu. Hajia, it says... Ajah, should I read this one?
Don't mind you. Good morning,
okay.
Ajah.
She says that I'm holding brief for GM, but if you watch the tape, to be truthful, the Assemblies of God Church, that's not what he said.
He has enough.
You didn't think that.
He has enough.
And so I have this one also coming from Mama War of the Asogli State. Says she admires you a lot. All right. And well, more feedback. This one is coming from Nane Juba Texan. And how are you? How are you as well? So, and she makes an intervention, and I believe that we need to take a relook at Ijuba. Okay, so it's about the. Okay, so this is what she said, and I think it's in relation to the kidney dialysis being provided. I'm watching the New Day discussion right now, and I just want to chip in is that free dialysis isn't happening everywhere. Yeah, of course, they identified areas. It's quite nauseating hearing them praise themselves for something that is false. I go to 37 military hospital for dialysis myself, and it's not free happening there. I check police hospital as well, and they don't seem to know of any such thing. There are other listed hospitals that also haven't started. The only hospital in the list that I know have started are Kolebu and Mamobi Hospital. and so makes that intervention and attaches some of them. But thank you for the intervention as well. And House of Edem, you're celebrating, Sedem, you're celebrating your birthday today, so you also, okay. All right. So we have, this one is coming from Chris Ashalibocho. Good morning to you. It says, oh, lo and behold, I expect the MPP to be sober at this point. They shouldn't be party forever. Don't know what you meant by that. And then also we have other comments coming in. This one is coming from Chris Boating in Agonan Sabah, who says that the Akufo-Addo government has a lot to be credited for. It's only posterity that will judge it. And Eric also says, Happy New Year to you and your panelists. I think TV3 should apply for 24-hour icon because you have demonstrated during the elections. Well, thank you very much. And that'll be it for now. Thank you all for your comments as well. And thank you also. Happy New Year to all of you. I wish you all the best for the year. I hope that you say you hold the reprieve for the John Mahama period. All right.
Let us have some social issues discussed.
More social issues.
But he's going to appoint people. We have to talk about
all right.
it. He's going to do a lot of
Let me say good morning to
social
Chairman Prosper,
aspects.
wherever you find yourself. Please, good morning to you. And then also Francis Stevenson, formerly of the Ghana Revenue Authority. I wish you all the best for the day as well. We have cash out. It goes with the short code *439#. Please make sure you choose option 2. Increase the number of tickets per the prompt that you get. Do that as many times as possible. I keep saying that January is made up of 75 days. For those of you who will pay a lot of school fees, all of us will be, and then the school fee is not only paid for your children, you pay for others who depend on you as well. Please make sure that you cash out, get lots of money credited into your mobile money account. We're taking a break. When we come back, we're going to have a lot more right here on the show for you. Stay with us.